Yo. Starting a video slash stream with yo is always a good idea. I'd like to welcome you to the stream, and I'd like to tell you what I'm doing. Something a little different. Something I don't often do. I'm gonna do a review. Game review. This is gonna be like a list of games and movies I liked in 2017. Talk about them a little bit. I'll explain why I chose what I chose, and then we'll play some video games. We'll be doing this to the FTL soundtrack, which is an amazing game that I would recommend. If you've never played it, FTL, look it up. It's good. Alright, so let's do this. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. I made a list, and I'm not good at making lists because I like to kind of just, you know, whoa, music. I like to kind of go based on how I feel on a particular day. So one day I might like one game, another day I might like another game. This is a difficult thing for me to do because I don't give scores. I don't really think about games like that. In fact, some of the games on this list I would say I like as much as other games, but I had to put them... I challenged myself to make a top 10. And so that's what I did. Also, we're not starting with number 10! I'm not trying to build suspense. I'm just trying to give you the list. And so that's what we're gonna do. Alright? Let's take a look. Games. Number 1. I guess I am building suspense. So, this is... what a surprise. My favorite game of the year was Zelda. It was an amazing game that did a lot for open world, did a lot for Zelda, did a lot for the Switch, and I've never streamed a game as much as I've streamed Zelda. Take a look take a look at these amazing graphics that I put together for you. But no, I really do love this game so much. I had so much fun with it, and it's one of those things that, even though this is totally expected, and it may not be everybody's game of the year, it was mine. I enjoyed it, and I know some people had problems with it. It's not a perfect game. There's room for improvement, and there's issues that I take with it. But I loved it to the point where it's number 1. Zelda is back in a way that I really enjoy. So we're gonna do number 2. Again, I'm not building suspense by 10... 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm just gonna show you the list. Just gonna go from best to least best. Even though there's like kind of a gray area somewhere in there where I kind of like all of them equally. So Mario Odyssey, this is another probably non-surprise to people. I think Odyssey was just more fun than anything else. So Zelda was like amazing, and it really put me in that world, and I wanted to explore. I wanted to collect everything. Mario was just fun. And I enjoyed all the little surprises. I enjoyed the gameplay. I enjoyed Cappy, the captures. Everything about this game was cool. It wasn't like an evolution so much as it was a really good incremental entry into the series. And it's great to have Mario back in a context that's more familiar to people that grew up with Mario 64 and Sunshine as their favorites. So, Nintendo, what a surprise. I'm a Nintendo fan. Of course I'm going to be a little biased. I like their games. They released 2 of the best games this year, so thank you, Nintendo, for making these games good and not releasing them too rushed, spending 3 to 4 to 5 years of development on them. It paid off. Number 3 is Resident Evil 7. I loved Resident Evil 7. I thought it was, again, one of those things that brought the series back. I fucking had so much fun with it. It was a weird kind of entry into the series. I know people would consider Resident Evil 4 or 2 their favorite. That seems to be like the dividing line. To me, Resident Evil 7 was a good mix between both. It had the classic horror stuff. It was a little puzzly, very shooty, and extremely memorable. Is it a perfect game? Again, no. No, it has issues. All of these games are my personal choices for games that I had the most fun with that came out this year. And I would say Resident Evil 7 was a surprise. I loved it. Mario plus Rabbids was the game nobody wanted. This was a game that had a lot of negative hype when it was first revealed. I thought it was a fucking joke. I remember Rabbids on the Wii. It was like, oh, okay, this is kind of alright. And then Rabbids just kind of lost their reputation. It was really, really worrying. Until Shigeru Miyamoto came out with the guns on stage. And then they showed off some of the gameplay. I was like, what the fuck is this? Mario XCOM? Really? Well, yeah, and it worked really well. I had a lot of fun playing it, but more so than that, it was somehow this amazing combination of things that shouldn't have worked together, but did. Mario with guns and Rabbids. The Rabbids weren't as awful as I thought they would be. Granted, the selfie thing and, you know, some of the jokes fell a little flat for me. I didn't really care for a lot of the also randoms, but there were times I genuinely laughed at the Rabbids, and it was good to have Mayro and Lug shooting guns, and I thought it was a great game with great music, by the way. Kirk Hope did a nice job with it. Challenging. A lot of replayability. Totally unexpected. Cuphead. Well, I'm gonna hand this one over to Vine AM, if you're okay with that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to tell you about Cuphead, a game I played a little bit. Now, back in my day, we played platformers. Mega Man, Contra. This was a good combination of the two. And it did a little something new, too. The art style was great, the music was amazing. Overall, I would say Cuphead belonged on my list. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go smoke a cigar and inhale, because I don't know any better. Fuck it, commies.
It was a good game. And I was okay at it. It provided me entertainment. It was old school in the way that I really needed a game like that, and I didn't realize I did. Visually, obviously, it was amazing. But I think it delivered in terms of gameplay. I liked the focus on boss battles. Good game. Very good game. Now, do I like Cuphead more than Splatoon 2? Maybe. I'm not so sure. I like both games. I think I got a lot more time out of Splatoon 2. I played a lot of the multiplayer. It was not a game that was just lazily cashing in on Splat. There was a lot more stuff in it. The single player was underratedly great. Multiplayer was really good. The online was pretty solid. They've been upgrading it and updating it and adding new shit since release. So it's just been this constantly evolving thing. Even though I put way more time into Splatoon 2, maybe I like Cuphead a little bit more. Maybe just by like a percentage. I don't give scores, like I said, and I also don't like making lists, but I challenged myself, and so Splatoon 2 is number 6! It was a good, fun game. If Splatoon 2 was the first of the series, if Splatoon 2 was Splatoon 1, it would probably be higher on my list. Just based on the fact that it was like it came out of nowhere. I think Splatoon 3, whenever that happens, could go in a different direction a little bit and further refine, you know. But as it stands, it was a lot of fun, and it's a good entry onto the Switch. Number 7 is A Hat in Time. Another platformer. This game, again, came out of nowhere for me. I knew it was coming out, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. This has been a crazy year for mascot platformers, and Hat in Time was pretty high up there in terms of one of the best ones. I think Hat in Time turned out way better than Ukulele. No offense to Ukulele, because it was okay. But clearly A Hat in Time just was more, I don't know, it was just maybe more thought out, more love and attention was put into it. It controlled better. Ukulele was kind of slavishly bound to its source material, Banjo-Kazooie, and it didn't quite recapture it. That was the one I was looking forward to, and then Ukulele was just okay, and then Hat in Time turned out to be, like, really good. So, just a weird chain of events that turned me into a Hat in Time fan. It was an inventive game that had really good jump and physics mechanics. Physics mechanics? Sure, that works. And it was funny, and it was charming, and I loved every minute of it. Listen, if I say I'm not sure I'm going to stream a whole game, and then I end up streaming the whole game, it's something that it won me over, for sure. SteamWorld Dig 2 is number 8 on my list here, and again, we're in an area of I'm going to use the word nebulous since we're listening to FTL music. Maybe SteamWorld would be a little lower, maybe it would be a little higher, but today it's number 8. Number 8, meaning it's a great game. It was the best Metroidvania that came out this year, in my opinion. It was everything that SteamWorld Dig 1 did better. It was a lot of fun to explore, to dig. It has a great gameplay loop. Some of the combat stuff was more interesting than just fight interface with sword. And it just worked really well for me. I was very excited to play it, and it paid off. It was great. Now remember, I didn't play Hollow Knight. So, if I had played Hollow Knight, maybe it would be up here. These are only games I've played. Hollow Knight is coming to Switch, and when it does, I'm going to stream it. That might be on my list next year. But SteamWorld was great. Number 9, Observer. I'm a bit of a Blade Runner fan. I don't know if you know that. Observer was perfect in capturing that kind of feel and atmosphere. And then it turned out to have a pretty good story. Then it turned out to have weird horror shit. It turned out that it was like gruesome and kind of made you think about stuff. The voice acting was mostly good. Rutger Hauer was sometimes great, sometimes like, huh? Are you asleep? But overall, I thought Observer was a complete game. The ending maybe left me a little disappointed, but didn't really affect my opinion of it in the long run. It came out this year. It was a great game. It did something a little different, and it fit my my cyberpunk desire before Blade Runner 2049 came out. So yeah, Observer is number 9, sorry. Number 10! Metroid. This almost wasn't number 10, because I forgot about it. I shouldn't have forgotten about it, but I did. This could just as easily have been an honorable mention. It was a good game, but I felt like it lost a lot of steam towards the end. The gameplay was solid. Visuals were a little samey, but the animations were solid. The new things that Samus could do, I was worried about. After playing, it was not a worry. It was great. I loved what they did with the new powers, the Aeon abilities and all that. I just feel like it needed a better game to prop it up. And so, like I said, maybe this isn't a number 10 game. Maybe this is an honorable mention game. But I loved it for most of it. So. So this is my list of top 10, and it's not an easy list to make because this year had amazing games that came out, and I loved everything on this list to varying degrees, but I feel like there was plenty more, so we're gonna have to take a look at the honorable mentions, and I've probably forgotten a couple. Dead Cells. You know, I know it's still early access, but I guess I played it for the first time this year. I think it was available to play for the first time this year. And Dead Cells was great. Dead Cells was a game that turned into like this addiction for a while, and it's like a kind of a Castlevania-esque roguelite that just keeps getting better and better as they update it. It was on the list briefly. PUBG and Fortnite could both be on this list. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's semi-interchangeable. They're both like a cool idea. I've spent a lot of time playing them. I know the PUBG being popular ruins it for a lot of people. I know some people just kind of go contrarian without having played it. And I know some people have played it and it just doesn't vibe for them. But I've sunk this year, like, 40-something hours into PUBG. Mostly with friends, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, there are some tense fucking situations in this style of game. Even though it's a lot of waiting, as I've said before, when you get to the action, it's meaningful and amazing, and the amount of weird shit, like people crashing into each other, like at the very end, someone throwing a grenade randomly across a mountain, and then you blow up after all the work you put in. A 4v1 where the one person wins, that didn't happen on my stream. But it's just a crazy experience if you get into it. I think it's rewarding. It's easy to lose time into it. And again, it's the game mode. I mean, PUBG, the new update is really good. That's why I think I put this on the list, because I like the new update. But overall, the Battle Royale thing has just been, it's been huge. But I see why people like it. Puyo Puyo Tetris is just an amazing, fun, like, puzzle game. I mean, it's Tetris and Puyo. What more do I need to tell you, goddammit? It's great. The online is pretty good. The story was funny at times, but mostly it's just an addictive, like, really, really, really good portable game. And I'm gonna say that when there was a bit of a lull in the, when there was a bit of a lull in the release cycle on the Switch, Puyo was the perfect game to have. And I really started getting into it, and I started seeing like Puyos and Tetraminos in my sleep. So it did something right. Stardew Valley I'm putting on the list as an honorable mention, because as much as I enjoyed Stardew, one, it didn't really come out this year for the first time, so, I played it for the first time this year. And two, I never really played it beyond like 25-30 hours. What I did play, addictive, really, really, really charming, and a little too grindy for me, though. It got to the point where I started feeling like somewhat like aimless. And I know when you play a game like Stardew, you have to make your own goals. That was when I had the most fun, when I just did whatever I wanted to do. And I can see easily how that game sucks away like 80, 90, 120, 130, 140 hours of someone's life. Easy. But it's not one of my top 10, but man did I enjoy it, and man did it get it addictive for me. I fucking spent time in that game that I can never get back, and I don't regret it. Kingsway I streamed. It's just a simple little RPG that was just great. There was a hula demon. I completed it. It had a good style with the OS stuff. If you don't know what Kingsway is, go watch my videos of it. It was a good time, and the chat and I enjoyed it very much. Cool indie game. Miitopia is on the list because it was kind of like almost a semi-sequel to Tamagotchi, but it's not high on the list, or rather it's in the honorable mention section because I got kind of bored of the gameplay. It's plays itself mostly, and the end game, is a little grindy. But going from start to finish, like for the story, was an experience that I'm glad I could share with everybody. It was funny. There were good character moments, and there's a lot of weird muscle outfits, and it created a lot of fucking memes. I would say Miitopia was probably a stream that people enjoyed more than any of the other games on the list. For a lot of people, yeah. Lots of lore. ARMS is at the very bottom here. ARMS is at the bottom, even though it could have easily have been on the top 10 somewhere, maybe like 9 or 10. ARMS was a surprisingly good concept. I got a little bored of it because I do get bored of fighting games, but I feel ARMS was something that the Switch needed. It just got its last update, so they kept it going with lots of stuff. It was a good new IP for Nintendo, and I think ARMS 2 could be equally interesting. Maybe better. Hopefully better. And I saw some fucking intense ARMS matches. I saw people really go hard with that game, where it reminded me of Smash Brothers a little bit. Eat your arms. So, it's just a matter of taste, really, all of this. These are my own opinions, and I know opinions are so last year, but this is how I feel about these games. Hand of Fate 2, I was gonna put on here, but since I'm still streaming it, I don't think I'm going to. However, if I had to put Hand of Fate 2 on this list, it would probably be somewhere around 8, 9, or 10. I love Hand of Fate 2. It's just, since I'm still in the middle of the game, I didn't want to put it on the list. It's great. It's really great. And my #1 game of the year is Logan Kart. And I want to just mention that I forgot a number of other games, and if I did, I'm sorry. I tried to be thorough, but I probably missed a few. A lot of really fucking good games came out this year. And, you know, then you have, like, well, ports, do they count? I've been playing more Skyrim than almost any other game in the past couple months. But it's not a game that came out for the first time this year. I didn't put it on the list because it's Skyrim. You know what I mean? It's not... I don't need to talk about it. It's just there. And for better or worse. But Stardew, I felt, because since I had never played it before, and since the Switch version was so really, like, amazing, the portability of it, I felt like Stardew definitely deserved to be on there. Rock of Ages 2 was great. I never finished Ever Oasis. I liked the first 10 hours of it, got bored. What else? Chat, let me know if I missed anything. Skyrim is a strong contender for Skyrim of the Year award. Castlevania Doom, that was a fun mod. It was good. Everspace was also... I forgot about Everspace. I loved Everspace. So there you go. That would be on the honorable mentions. That's a shame I forgot about that. I don't know if it got DLC, but I plan on playing it again sometime this year. It was addictive and great. Sorry, Everspace. Sorry, Everspace. Okay, so... the Heath Thick series would not make the list. Real quick, I just want to talk about some movies. I know I'm a gaming channel. I like to talk about movies while I play games. So, that said, here are the movies that I saw. And only the ones that I saw. I didn't see every movie this year. But here are the movies I saw this year that I loved. Okay, this is obvious, but it delivered. I had high hopes, but my expectations were kind of warm, at best. And I'll say that I loved Blade Runner 2049. It fucking delivered. Take a shot. You know? As a sci-fi fan, as a fan of Denis Villeneuve, as a fan of, stuff, I thought it was great. As a fan of as a fan of synonyms, movies and film are wonderful. And this movie was what I wanted, and it delivered. And, thank you, Denis Villeneuve. Sorry that it didn't make the money you wanted it to. Dunkirk. I am a sucker for World War II era stuff. World War II movies, you name it. I just got the Dunkirk Blu-ray, so I'm gonna watch it again at some point. But I thought Dunkirk was great. It was weird. It's not my favorite Nolan film. And again, this might not be a definitive list. Like, it might just be that Dunkirk was the movie I was thinking about today. But I seem to recall having loved Dunkirk especially since I was in an IMAX theater and I watched this movie in the best possible way, the way Uncle Nolan's intended. Someone online said it would be great to watch Dunkirk on an Apple Watch while what happened? Super chirp? That one hurt so good. Really? Huh, I didn't even know there was a chirp. Is it still chirping? Oh, wow. That's a shame. Huh. Alright, I'll be right back. I hope that fixed it. I don't know where the chirps are coming from. I don't know why it also took my audio away. But I guess that was the best chirp of 2017. Okay, so listen, I'll just finish my thoughts on Dunkirk and say that it was an experience. But someone said online, I want to film Christopher Nolan in IMAX watching someone watch his movie Dunkirk on an Apple Watch. I got a kick out of that. Because this movie was absolutely made to be watched in IMAX or in like a, you know, really big movie screen. So I loved it for that reason. And it was intense and stuff. Logan. Now this isn't anything to do with Logan Cart or Logan Paul. Thank God. But I enjoyed the Logan movie because it was like... Okay, I watched the first X-Men movie when I was a kid. I'm a little older now. Logan did not try to be something it wasn't. It didn't try to be too comic booky. It just was a movie. It starts with the word fuck, and it's a movie that hurts a little bit. Patrick Stewart was great. All the little kind of character moments were excellent. Hugh Jackman did a good job. And I really enjoyed it. But I would be lying if I said it didn't kind of fuck me up a little bit. Yep. This is on the list. This is on the list. I don't know why I like this movie so much. I was trying to make this list. I was thinking about it. I think it's Michael Keaton that made the movie for me. Do you know when Michael Keaton... Do you know when Michael Keaton goes... Good old Spider-Man. When the light turns from red to green. Good old Spider-Man. That was my favorite, like, scene from any of the movies. Is it the best movie? Is it a good movie? I don't know. I enjoyed it. I just liked Michael Keaton in it. And I thought it was a fun superhero movie. Again, it's up there for Michael Keaton and for just how it wasn't an origin story, it cut away a lot of the fluff, and it was just a fun superhero movie that worked. Just worked. Oh, I'm sorry I don't like the movies you like, Mr. Mech. You son of a bitch. How dare you. How dare you. So I liked Get Out as number 5. I thought Get Out was pretty fucking good because it didn't really... I didn't know what to expect from it. I was expecting weird, and I got weirder, and the movie was good. Was this with chirping again? Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Why is my chirps? Vignette, stop trying to damage my speakers. Great. I wonder if this is gonna happen throughout my entire stream tonight. If so, I might have to stop. But I have no idea what's going on. It might be an XSplit thing. It could be. Alright, so... Anyway, Get Out was a good movie that didn't, fuck, it threw me off completely, god damn it. Get Out was awesome. It was a thriller. It was kind of funny at times, but it was also like bizarre, and it just didn't. I didn't expect anything. I expected nothing, and I got a lot. So it's somewhere on my list. I had to put it 5. Get Out. It was good. This list is gonna piss people off. This entire movie list. I can tell. I just know it is. But it was actually a lot of fun. That's the best thing I can say for it. There were spooky clowns. It was a decent enough horror movie. I don't know if I would say it was one of my favorites necessarily, but it was up there. Star Wars. See, I told you this list was gonna make people go nuts. People are gonna fucking go mental. Again, this is why I don't usually do top 10s, because I don't really like Star Wars above it necessarily. But The Last Jedi was a movie that I enjoyed in the theater, and then gradually began to hate more and more as a result of me reading about it on the internet. Isn't that funny how that happens? It's shitty at times. It made plenty of mistakes. I believed in Rian Johnson. I believed in Rian Johnson, and I still do. I think he can do a lot more with his own movies. He can do a lot more with his own trilogy. I feel like there were some baffling decisions, but on the whole, I liked the spectacle of it. I liked a lot of the battle stuff. I liked the character stuff with Kylo Ren and Rey. I liked Luke, even though it wasn't what people expected. It felt, for me, like, okay, alright, something. Here's something. It's not the same thing. But my complaint, as I've said many times on stream, is I thought it could have gone further. It wanted to be different. Well, it was different in both the wrong ways and not enough. That said, when I watched it in the theater, I really liked it. And, you know, I have my issues now, but it was a good movie at the time. The Disaster Artist, I put number 8, but again, that could be kind of interchangeable with anything, aside from Blade Runner and Dunkirk, I'd say. But The Disaster Artist was good. It took too many liberties with the source material. The book was better. I know everyone says that. I know it's like a meme to even say that, but I liked seeing the Disaster Artist in the theater, but like Tommy was too sympathetic, where if you read the book or you have Greg Sestero read it to you, it's all kinds of like creepy and weird, and you know, they kind of like shoehorned this kind of happy ending thing that didn't really work for me. Also, they missed some of the, for me, they missed some of the more interesting moments of The Room's story based on the book. That said, as a movie on its own, it was a lot of fun, and I thought Franco did a good job with Tommy. And the supporting cast wasn't annoying. Seth Rogen wasn't like, weed. He was just kind of there, he did his job, and that was it. Good guest appearances, and it made me laugh a bunch. It didn't blow me away, but it was good. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I guess my friends like to see superhero movies, so I saw a lot of superhero movies this year. But I didn't see Thor, which I probably would have liked. I'm kind of sad I didn't see Thor, actually. I heard that one was good. But Guardians 2 was a good movie in the theater. Very quotable, kind of schlocky at times, but at least it kind of knew what it was. Kurt Russell was great. I love Kurt Russell. I like the soundtrack. They have to stop doing Guardians the way they've been doing them. Now it's like the first one was so good, and now number 2 is like just formulaic. It was Guardians of the Galaxy by numbers. As much as I enjoyed it, I also kind of have a hard time rewatching it, because it's just like, okay, here's a joke. 3, 2, 1. Joke. 3, 2, 1. Trash Panda. But if your mind can handle that, and your eyes can handle non-stop balls to the wall action. It was pretty good. Actually, that's not true. It wasn't too actiony. It had its moments, but it was spread out. Drax was amazing. Drax is always my favorite character in these movies, so pretty good. Alien Covenant is not a good movie, but I ran out of movies. I liked it when I first saw it. Again, as time goes on, I like it less. It's just another retread. Is it a bad retread? No, not really. But it's also kind of... it's entertaining. I liked some of the stuff with Fassbender. When Fassbender says, "I'll do the fingering," that's when I check out mentally. And I'm like, maybe not. Maybe not Alien Covenant. But it almost worked. It was the skeleton of a good movie, much like this franchise is now a skeleton of what it once was. So, that said, it's still better than a lot of the Alien schlock we've received, and I liked it better than Prometheus. So, here's a couple honorable mentions. Both involving, Monkey. I don't know, War for the Planet of the Apes was cool and everything. It's too long. Kong Skull Island. Schlock. Someone in chat just said, "Man, some of the worst lists ever." Vinny, you gotta stop watching schlock. But all my friends want to watch schlock. I can deal with it. Like, I can enjoy a shitty movie. I felt like I enjoyed TV shows this year more than I did movies, to be honest. I'm gonna say this. I didn't see Baby Driver. I did not see Baby Driver. I didn't see Thor. So this list is kind of by nature just the, you know, not a great list because I just didn't see a lot of the movies. I didn't see Wonder Woman. What else did I not see? The Shape of Water. The Phantom Thread. Has anyone seen that one? Not my type of movie, but I heard it was amazing. I didn't see John Wick. You know, I didn't see the other Logan movie. I, Tonya apparently is on the top list of the year. Okay. I don't know what that is. I didn't see Mother. I didn't see Okja. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Wow. Okay, there's a lot of movies that came out this year that I haven't even heard of. So unfortunately, this is like just kind of whatever's there. I'd say half the movies on this list are genuinely entertaining and great, and then I kind of struggled. That said, it's just movies. Who cares? So, and no, I didn't see the Bye Bye Man. I can't believe people are that, like, into the Bye Bye Man. Really, guys? Really? Then again, it's probably better than Alien Covenant, so... Jumanji was good schlock. Well, I think that's what we got. I'll say gaming this year was great. Movies, we got a lot of good schlock. And I would even say Star Wars fell into schlock territory more than it should have, which is unfortunate. But at least, you know, Blade Runner turned out great. Dunkirk, Logan, Get Out. So that's my shitty list that I expect you to fully disagree with. Maybe even stop watching me permanently as a result, which is cool. But, you know, go for it. Go for it, man. Do it. Do what you gotta do. You're allowed to have your opinion as much as I'm allowed to have mine's. Sorry. Sorry for the chirps, by the way. I don't know what the deal with the chirps is, and I'm gonna find out. You know what? I probably won't find out, so never mind. Enjoy more chirps in the future. I destroy your ears and your opinion of me here on today's Best Of stream. Why not a music list? There's only a couple. The Pond album, The Weather, Queens of the Stone Age. There was a couple others that I forgot about. Noel Gallagher's album I liked. I didn't listen to a lot of, like, newer bands or, like, artists this year. So, I didn't want to make a list and struggle. and also show you how limited my musical tastes are. Whoops! King Gizzard had 5 albums. It's just gonna be a list of 5 albums from the same artist. TV shows, you know, Black Mirror is I'm not even done with it, but it's been great. I like Stranger Things Season 2. Game of Thrones was just it was okay. The Orville was surprisingly good. Curb Your Enthusiasm was amazing. Nathan For You was amazing. Star Trek was kind of somewhere in the middle for me, but I still enjoyed it. So, those are the things I liked this year. Alright. Let's get the music off. That's the FTL soundtrack once again. Thanks for tolerating this. Thank you for checking this out. I think usually if I do a list or I do some kind of compilation, I usually just talk about it while I'm streaming. But I wanted to try something a little different. And as polarizing as any kind of list may be, I want you to keep in mind that on a daily basis, I go back and forth with things. And it kind of just depends on where I'm at. So even though I didn't put ARMS very high on the list, if I played it again, I might feel differently about it. So that's kind of how I am. But I'm, you know, regardless, I'm glad that I can talk shit for a couple minutes, couple dozen minutes, maybe perhaps 3 dozen minutes, and people are interested and they have, you know, counterpoints. Let me know how you feel about this stuff. Let's just say if you have any thoughts, if you want to email me, or tweet your thoughts to me. That's better. I'm so behind on my emails. It's been mental. So I'll just say tweet any thoughts you have about your favorite stuff. And if you do so in a way that I'm willing to, like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and I learned something from it, that's even better. Or if when this thing comes to YouTube, if you want to do comments, I know the comment section is usually a fucking dumpster fire. Not always on my videos, though. Some of my videos are actually, we have a lot of chill people in the YouTube comments. And by the way, chill people, you know who you are. Thank you for that. Thank you for getting an actual discussion going. Thank you for sometimes enlightening me when I read your opinions. It's, I know how bad it can be, but sometimes I'm pretty impressed. So please, let me know how you feel about all this stuff. You know, like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think, come on. But I think for something like this, that's actually necessary. I like the debate, I like the discourse. And for the stuff that I haven't seen, maybe it would be good to know what you think about, like, okay, so Thor Ragnarok, maybe I would have really loved that movie. Maybe it would have been on my top 3. You know what I mean? So be sure to let me know. And again, thank you for listening.